Maybe you are brand new to magic and you're looking for the best place to start with magic books. Or perhaps you're a seasoned magic book lover and you just want to rekindle that fire that started it all so many years ago. Because in this episode of Erudite Magic, I'm going to share 5 of my favorite beginner magic books. So if you are just beginning, you'll have a good sense of where to start and what to look at and which might benefit you the most. And if you're someone who has quite a large magic library, as I do, then perhaps you'll be inspired to go back and revisit these beginner texts that still have so much great magic. And if you stick around to the end, I'm also going to share with you some thoughts that I have about how to help a beginner magician get into magic and learn about this world of magic books. These books are not in any order of preference. In fact, I'm basically taking them in chronological order, starting with the oldest and working our way to some of the newest. The first one on our list to discuss is The Amateur Magician's Handbook by Henry Hay. The first version of this was published in 1950, and while there have been several revisions and updates or additions to add content or add photographs or different things, the basics remain largely unchanged. As with any beginner magic book, the author is going to take you through a variety of different types of material, from things like cards and coins all the way through to some string and rope or other close-up items. And that's great, but also because of the age of the book, there's the flip side of this, that is, it will take you through some stuff that's no longer that relevant, like thimble magic, billiard balls, or cigarette tricks. Even though some of these categories might not be that relevant to you, there are still items that you can learn from them, and you can replace those specific props with something else. You're still learning the basics of magic misdirection. He's going to share with you some magicians that you're going to want to know about, and of course, a heavy dose of psychology about how and why magic actually works, which is important. The key thing about this book that sets it apart from a lot of the others is the order in which he teaches you the magic. Most books try to start you off with something simple and easy and progress to harder and harder material, whereas in The Amateur Magician's Handbook, the author purposefully starts you with harder material, things that are going to require more work and practice, so that you realize that you can do anything if you put your mind to it, and you'll feel far more confident when you're ready to present these miracles to an appreciative audience. The categories I mentioned before are not the only ones. There are things with mental magic and children's magic, performing on a platform, theming out your show. There's lots that's covered in here. In my mind, if you can get this book for a similar price to what I did, I think it's worth its weight in gold. I paid around $4 for my copy, and if you scour the internet or look around at a used bookshop, you're likely to find a pretty great deal on what amounts to a great beginner magic book. As we follow the timeline of these magic books, the second book on our list arrived on the scene in 1975. As we think about magic as it's gone through history, there have been ups and downs when magic was more popular and less, but in the 70s, magic was kind of returning to its own. And this was a time when many wanted to learn magic from someone who had a credible voice in that world. To that end, Mark Wilson gave us his complete course in magic. And of all of the books that I'm going to share with you on this list, I think that this one makes a lot of sense for someone starting out and wants to know about all different types of magic. Like some of the other texts you'll hear me talk about in here, there are of course items with cards and coins, but there are also items with sponge balls, mental magic, ropes, silks. Yes, even some of the thimble, billiards, and cigarette magic mentioned previously, but also illusions. You'll learn how some of this big stage magic actually works, and if you want to, you could put it together and perform it based on what you're learning in this book. Basically, this book is a massive tome. It is just shy of 500 pages, and there are about 300 different things taught, whether that's a sleight or a trick. So there's plenty of material to choose from. Along with the text to explain exactly how the trick works, there are also hand-drawn illustrations, over 2,000 of them, that were derived from originally 50,000 photographs to pick the best ones, and then had those illustrated to show you exactly what you need to do for each of the tricks to learn them perfectly. You'll also learn psychology, you'll get introduced to some other magicians, and each trick is laid out in the same way. The author gives you the effect, the secret, and the preparation that you'll need to get ready for the trick, and then the method or performance how you would present this to an audience, as well as a final section to give you any additional thoughts or other ideas that you could incorporate into the magic. Even though this book is now 50 years old, I feel like it's held its own. It's still in print, widely available, and I picked up my hardbound copy at a used bookstore for around $8. For $8, it's pretty hard to go wrong with this, whether this book is for you or for someone else in your life who wants to get started in magic. If you're just thinking about buying one of the books on this list, I think that this one should be given heavy consideration. Just a year after Mark Wilson's complete course in magic, Bill Tarr put out Now You See It, Now You Don't, Lessons in Sleight of Hand. When you flip through this book, you'll see that the style of art and write-ups has a very similar feel to the Mark Wilson course in magic, likely due to its proximity in the timeline and the way the printing world was going at that time. This book is a lot smaller than the Mark Wilson book, but is nevertheless teaching you a lot of great magic. It's focused a lot more on the sleight of hand aspect of magic, and as a consequence, it's laid out differently. Each of the different tricks or sleights that he's teaching you will have a star rating next to it to help you understand exactly how difficult this will be to master, so that you're free to choose what's working for you or what you're willing to invest in. Like the other books, it covers a lot of different things: cards, coins, billiard balls, cigarettes, cups and balls, ropes, silks, and a bunch of other little things. In addition to the tricks you're taught, the author will also give you some of his philosophy on essential rules that you should have around your magic, like not sharing how the trick is done or practicing until you're ready. But if you want to learn sleight of hand, and many of you have commented that this was your first magic book, then this will be a great nostalgic look back at sleight of hand, and it will show you that magic really hasn't changed all that much. The fundamentals remain the same, just some of the props have changed over time. You can typically get this book online for a little less than $20, and if you shop around at a used bookstore, then you should be able to pick it up for substantially less. Speaking of buying magic books, let me tell you about the sponsor of this week's video, Don's Magic and Books. Don is an online magic dealer based out of Minnesota, and he specializes in magic books, which is one of the reasons that he's been sponsoring videos on this channel for many, many years. He wants to ensure that the knowledge in magic books gets circulated in the magic world for as long as possible. To that end, he acquires books that magicians no longer need and then offers them up at very reasonable prices on his website to you so that you can build your magic library. Don has helped me build out quite a bit of my magic library, and it's easy to see why when you go to his website and check out some of the prices he has on his inventory. You'll find that everything is fair and reasonable, and he's one of the best places to find those rare and out-of-print magic books that you've been looking for. I've picked up a few that are no longer in circulation from Don, and I know that you'll enjoy shopping with him too, whether you're looking for something new or out of print. No matter what you're looking for, shop with Don's Magic and Books this week. While there were no doubt many magic books published between 1976, our last book, and this upcoming one, I think that this next book represents another big step change in the beginner magic book world. If you, like me, are a child of the 90s, then you will recognize the Whatever for Dummies series, and in this case I'm talking about Magic for Dummies by David Pogue. This book was published in 1995 and represents a significant contribution to the world of beginner magic books. In fact, I really like the way this book is laid out, with the beginning talking about all the different magicians that contributed to this or helped to put it together, which helps you become familiar with some of the other names of who these creators are out there or these performers. In the back, there's also an appendix and a glossary with different terminology that you'll want to learn that will help you grow as you read more magic books. There are multiple table of contents as well as a detailed index that will help you to get through this book and find what you're looking for. One of the reasons it offers so much organization is because of how large the book is and how much magic it covers. I love the details that this book offers and the photographs that it uses to teach you how to do things. There are step-by-step instructions that walk you through everything, but I also love that in the back there will be some historical notes about the origins of the trick, where else you might learn more information. So this is a very comprehensive beginner magic book to help anyone that is excited about learning magic from a book to get further into this world. This book probably has the most variety of magic props used, maybe only rivaled by the Mark Wilson book. A lot of this is close-up and things that you could do and feel comfortable performing in a business setting or with family and friends. And while many of the tricks would definitely play for paying audiences, I don't feel like that's the intent of this. It's mostly to help you to become more entertaining through magic when you're in various social situations or parties. The other really strong positive for this book is that you can get it for around $13 online right now. So it is not expensive for a huge amount of magic. And if you're my age, I know you're going to enjoy revisiting some of the magic you learned as a child. The next book on the list takes us forward another 10 years to 2008. Back when DVDs and learning magic via video was becoming more prevalent, there was this beginner book put out, but it included a DVD to help you see how some of these tricks should work as kind of an added bonus. The book is Magic, the Complete Course by Joshua J. This book offers a lot of great value with over 100 tricks and 300 photos to help illustrate everything. And unlike many of these other books that I've shown so far, this one is by far the most visually attractive with plenty of color photos to illustrate everything and engage the reader with the material. It offers a lot of really great tools for the beginner or newcomer to magic by providing a scale about how hard certain tricks are to do, introducing you to magicians who you might not know about, and giving you ways that you can further your education. Of course, it shares with you psychology and tips and how you should practice and when you know you're ready, as well as a ton of great magic tricks. There are items with bills, coins, bread, cards, linking rings, ropes, silks. There are even some terrific mentalism tricks, one of which I perform in my paid shows using a slightly different method, but effectively the same trick as what you can learn in this beginner magic book. Now, I don't want to have a recency bias, but I do think that this is one of the best books to help get a beginner into magic because of how compelling it is with all the colorful photos, the educational nature of it, explaining things adequately, the DVD, if you want to see how the tricks should look to perform for an audience or how they might react, and just the sheer variety of really great tricks that are taught in it. It also offers at the end a way to combine tricks into a full show depending on where you're performing. So if you learn one or two of the tricks, you perform it for people, and then you decide you want to put together a full evening show, then you'll have the resources that you need with this book. The DVD doesn't cover all of the tricks. It does share 35 of the 100 or so taught in here. So it's a supplement. It's not really why you're getting the book, but it is a nice addition if you still have a DVD player to watch it. It was out of print for a little while, and recently was just announced that it's back in print. You can get it for around $20 brand new online. You may be able to find a gently used copy on the internet for less than that. At the end of the day, the choice about which one of these you might want kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you want to get a young person or someone new to the art into magic, then I think that the Joshua J book is probably one of the best suited for this because of the more modern features that it offers with the DVD, the color printing with all of the pictures, and just the most up-to-date information on magicians and what they've accomplished. That said, if you're looking for a very inexpensive gift with a ton of magic for someone who wants to learn a lot of different tricks or at least know about how a lot of different tricks work, then Mark Wilson's Complete Course in Magic is also fantastic. On the other hand, if someone's just looking to learn some tricks to share with their friends or coworkers, then I think Magic for Dummies is also a great way to go. If you're more interested in the sleight of hand aspects of magic, as many are, then of course Now You See It, Now You Don't, I think will be right up your alley. If you're a purist who wants to go back to some of the old school methods, focusing on the fundamentals and learning to do the hard thing before you progress to the easy thing, then the Amateur Magician's Handbook will stand you in good stead. I promised you at the beginning of this video a little idea, which is that I recommend whenever you're at a used bookstore or anytime you can get one of these books inexpensively, I recommend you pick it up, have it on your shelf, and whenever you have someone over or you meet someone who is gung-ho and excited about magic, that you can use this as an inexpensive gift, a way to get them further into the world of magic books and the art as a whole. As I mentioned just a second ago, any of these books would be great for the budding magician in your life, and I think it's important that we continue to share magic books and what they can do for you as a magician, how they make you think in different ways than just watching and copying a video. If someone's going to just own one magic book, then it should probably be one of these 5 that I just mentioned. However, if you've already made the decision that you're committed and you want to build out a bigger library, then check out this video series I did for you on the 5-foot shelf of magic and what books you might want to consider as you begin your magic book journey. As always, my friend, I appreciate you watching. And until next time, keep reading.